In a dramatic and increasingly volatile development, the skies above the Middle East have once again become a stage for a powerful show of force. The United States has officially deployed its fearsome B-1B Lancer strategic bombers in response to mounting Iranian threats, positioning these long-range aircraft within striking distance of Tehran's most sensitive military assets. This aggressive move, described by defense experts as a calculated show of dominance, has instantly reignited tensions in a region already simmering with hostility. Iran, long defiant in the face of Western pressure, now finds itself staring down a threat it may be ill-prepared to confront. The B-1 Lancer, known among U.S. Air Force crews as the Bone, is a supersonic heavy bomber that combines speed, stealthy flight profile, and overwhelming payload capacity into one terrifying package. With the capability to fly intercontinental distances without refueling and deliver precision-guided bombs with devastating impact, its sudden deployment near Iranian airspace has sent shockwaves through the region's defense command centers. In recent missions, the bombers flew in tight formation at high altitudes before dropping to low-level attack positions, a classic tactic designed to test radar defenses and psychological endurance alike. Military observers believe the bombers were not merely conducting training drills but were actively simulating strategic strike operations, targeting mock installations that resemble real Iranian facilities. The choice to deploy B-1 aircraft that were once nuclear-capable but now optimized for massive conventional warfare sends a clear and chilling message. The United States is not only prepared to engage but may be preparing to strike, should Iran continue escalating regional provocations. For Iranian leaders, this is no longer a game of rhetoric. It is now a direct confrontation with one of America's most powerful airborne platforms. Footage leaked from nearby Gulf nations showed B-1s launching from U.S. bases in a spectacle of power and precision, escorted by F-15 and F-22 fighter jets, and refueled mid-air by KC-135 Stratotankers. These bombers thundered across the skies in coordinated flight paths. Civilians described the formation as unlike anything seen in years, massive, deliberate, and absolutely intimidating. The unmistakable roar of their afterburners reverberated through coastal cities, shaking windows and rattling nerves, signaling to the world that the U.S. military was very much awake and watching. What truly sets the B-1 Lancer apart is its unmatched payload capacity. Capable of carrying over 75,000 pounds of munitions ranging from precision-guided JDAMs to GBU-57 bunker-busting bomb sit-stands as the heaviest non-nuclear bomber in the U.S. Air Force's arsenal. Designed for penetrating heavily fortified defenses, the Lancer can deliver a storm of destruction with pinpoint accuracy. If conflict were to erupt, this aircraft could obliterate multiple high-value targets, including underground missile facilities, command bunkers, and air defense networks, in a single mission.
Issue, so that should not be an issue for you guys. But
Iran's top military officials have not taken this lightly. In a televised address, IRGC commander issued a stern warning, accusing the United States of provocation through intimidation and declaring that the Islamic Republic would respond with unmatched fury to any violation of its sovereignty. Behind closed doors, however, satellite imagery has shown a flurry of activity at Iranian air defense positions, with mobile SAM batteries being repositioned and radar systems operating around the clock in anticipation of a possible strike. Yet, despite Iran's attempts to show strength, analysts point to a major imbalance in capabilities. The B-1's ability to strike from over the horizon, coupled with its electronic countermeasure suites and high-speed ingress and egress tactics, make it a near-impossible target for Iran's older-generation missile systems. Even its most advanced Russian-supplied platforms, such as the S-300, may struggle to lock onto a low-flying B-1 approaching at Mach 1.2 with coordinated ECM jamming. For Iran, this presents a haunting reality. It may not be able to stop a strike until it's already too late. Recent U.S. maneuvers appear to follow Iran's launch of a long-range ballistic missile and its harassment of commercial vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. American intelligence officials have warned of Iran's increasing cooperation with proxy militias and advanced drone development. The deployment of the B-1S is not only a response, it is a statement. A red line has been drawn in the sand, one that Washington is clearly prepared to enforce with deadly force if required. In the shadows of diplomacy, the bombers represent a silent threat that cannot be ignored. As tensions rise, regional military installations have gone into high alert. U.S. forces at Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar and Diego Garcia in the Indian Ocean have reportedly begun continuous readiness operations. Ground crews are working day and night, loading precision bombs onto B-1S, running final maintenance checks, and preparing contingency flight plans. Pilots are undergoing last-minute simulations testing every possible scenario, from surgical strikes on weapons depots to full-scale aerial campaigns designed to cripple Iran's war-making infrastructure. Perhaps most provocative was the recent flight path of several B-1 Lancers reported near the Strait of Hormuz, a strategic maritime choke point responsible for the transport of 1/5 of the world's oil supply. If these aircraft did indeed fly through this area, it would mark one of the most direct threats to Iranian sovereignty in years. Such a move would force Tehran to consider whether to engage the aircraft and risk open warfare, or back down and appear weakened before the eyes of its own population and allies. In a rare release, the Pentagon published footage of bomb-loading operations aboard the B-1 showing ground crews arming the aircraft with a mix of GPS-guided bombs and cruise missiles. No words were attached to the video, no statements were issued, but for military experts and adversaries alike, the message was deafening. These aircraft are not flying empty. They are flying armed, primed, and prepared for war. The footage sparked a firestorm across Iranian media, with commentators speculating on the specific targets that may already be locked into U.S. attack plans. Even as Iran issues warnings and boosts its defensive posture, it faces a dilemma. Striking first would invite a catastrophic retaliation, likely spearheaded by these very bombers now circling the region. Yet ignoring them risks giving the U.S. the strategic upper hand. Tehran now finds itself forced to operate under the looming shadow of America's airborne sword, never knowing when or where it might fall. The psychological burden of such uncertainty may be the most powerful weapon of all. World leaders are calling for restraint, but behind the scenes, allies of the U.S. are preparing for a broader campaign. Intelligence coordination with Israel, Saudi Arabia, and Gulf states has reportedly intensified. Emergency drills have begun in several major cities, and military reserves have been quietly placed on alert. The world is watching and waiting for the spark that could ignite an explosive regional conflict with global consequences. Meanwhile, aboard those B-1 bombers, crews remain silent, focused, and ready. Each mission they fly is a blend of calculation and consequence. Every takeoff could be the beginning of history. They train relentlessly, review maps with intensity, and carry within their bomb bays the raw, destructive capability to alter the course of geopolitical events in mere minutes. As night blankets the Middle East, and cities below dim their lights in uneasy silence, the distant thunder of jet engines echoes across the desert. High above the clouds, the B-1 Lancer soars silent, swift, and deadly. For Iran, the threat is no longer theoretical. It is real, it is airborne, and it may strike without warning.